Judge Bhekisisa Mnguni is handing down judgment in the Pietermaritzburg High Court in the stay of the warrant of arrest for former President Jacob Zuma. Well, remember that Zuma was taken into custody on Wednesday night, and earlier this week, Zuma's lawyer, Advocate Dali Mpofu, argued that the Pietermaritzburg High Court does indeed have jurisdiction in common law to grant an interdict to stay his arrest. All right, let's now cross to our reporter who is outside the Pietermaritzburg High Court in KwaZulu-Natal, Ayanda Mhlongo. Ayanda, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Do you want to take us through, just a preview in relation to the judgment that will be delivered in about 10 minutes' time?
Yeah, very good morning to you, Simpiwe, and good morning to our viewers at home. Certainly, I'm just looking at my watch here, Simpiwe, that in fact in the next 3 minutes or so, Judge Bhekisisa Mnguni will be delivering his judgment as to whether or not the court will stay the arrest of former President Jacob Zuma. Well, of course, that was the application that was filed to this court on last Friday, which, as you said, was heard on Tuesday, where the legal team of former President Jacob Zuma at the time were trying to prevent his arrest. Of course, as we know now that this is now the second day that the former president has been remanded into custody at the S Court Correctional Facility. And I think it's going to be interesting now to see, some people, what is going to happen with regards to this judgment here today. Is it going to change? Will it mean that if the Pietermaritzburg High Court does rule in favor of the former president, that this could mean that he is allowed to return home to await the Constitutional Court's decision? As you know, that his legal team also filed an application to rescind the Constitutional Court's judgment, and that matter is going to be heard on Monday the 12th. Now, at the time, former President Jacob Zuma's legal team were trying to postpone or put on hold his arrest, and as I've said, of course, that he then having been remanded into custody. So all eyes are going to be on the court and whether or not this could mean that the former president is going to be able to go home. Of course, in objection to that, the respondents, the Zondo Commission, which was led by Advocate Dali Mpofu, as well as the... All right, let me just leave it now.
All right, so that was Ayanda, and let's now cross to the live proceedings of the delivery of the judgment.
Yes, the court pleases.
Thank you. The court adjourns.
All right, so we seem to have an issue, but let's now link back to Ayanda, who is outside the Pietermaritzburg High Court. So, Ayanda, and I'm not sure if you're still with us, but we've just seen the panel of judges there adjourning the proceedings, but we'll definitely get clarification as to what is exactly happening now. Well, I do understand that we're still trying to get the link back to Ayanda, who is our reporter stationed at the Pietermaritzburg High Court, where Judge Bhekisisa Mnguni will be handing down the judgment in the Pietermaritzburg High Court, in the stay of the warrant of arrest for former President Jacob Zuma. Remember that he was taken into custody on Wednesday night, and earlier this week, Zuma's lawyer, Advocate Dali Mpofu, argued that the Pietermaritzburg High Court does indeed have jurisdiction in common law to grant an interdict to stay his arrest. So we'll know in just a few minutes whether former President Jacob Zuma will be spending the weekend, this coming weekend, that is, at home or at the S Court Correctional Facilities. That's coming up in a moment. But for now, let's just take a look back at the timeline of former President Jacob Zuma having spent his second night in prison today after he was imprisoned on Wednesday. Let's take a look at the chronology of events leading up to his incarceration.